My name's Karen Hickson, and my wife Liz had a brain tumor, and she passed away almost 2 years ago now. One of the first things was, because of the brain tumor, she had to have MRIs every so often. Monthly there for a while, she was having MRIs. And when you go in, even if you have insurance and we're at the hospital, and it's the one that the insurance said to go to, like all of those things, they would say, oh, the MRI, you have to pay us up front for that. And I was like, well, why? And they're like, well, you could have canceled your insurance, we don't know. But they would take my credit card, and I was like, well, I could have canceled my credit card, you know? And they were like, well, that we can check in a second. And I was like, you can't check if I have health insurance? Like, it's just, you know, like, it's that difficult? And they said, oh, it could take months to find out if you have health insurance. And then, like, every other MRI, the insurance company would say they didn't approve, and then we'd have to, like, challenge it. Like, I had always had like money floating that I knew would eventually maybe get covered if I did all these steps. And it was like a 4-step process, like pay for the MRI, get the MRI, you know, maybe get reimbursed or maybe appeal, like this whole thing for just to get MRI for somebody that had a brain tumor, and they wanted to see if the treatment, the radiation and chemotherapy were working on it. Less than a week after Liz died, I got a call from the neurologist billing department, and they said that I hadn't paid this money, and I had already paid that same invoice number or whatever. And so I was like, well, I paid you. And then they were like, well, we need to talk to Liz to make sure that you have the authority to know this information about the money. And I was like, well, you addressed the bill to me, and you know, you called and you asked for me, like, what part of this wouldn't involve me. And so I said I could send them the death certificate. She couldn't really say yes on the phone to them. I was really mad at this one guy who kept calling from this one billing department, and like I was mad at him. And I was being a mean customer. I mean, I've done a lot of customer service, and I know a mean customer, and I was definitely like, you know, I couldn't take one more thing, and my anger was going to happen, and I knew that. And I was thinking about the Nuremberg trials. I know that sounds really weird, but how we as a society then decided that a person was guilty for following the rules of their job. If they were ordered to do it, they were still guilty of what they did. And I told him that. I was like, you know, you're part of the problem. It's not, I know you're just a guy who has a job, and you're trying to feed your family, and you're just part of this whole cycle of evil that's happening, but you're as guilty. You know, you have to hold yourself accountable for what you're saying to me, what you're asking me, how you're being with me, and look at the whole thing and say, yeah, I can't talk to your wife, and I sent the bill to you, so you must be able to hear this information. You have to be using your common sense. You can't fall back on these rules that are obviously wrong. I mean, it's so obviously wrong. So then they sent me a bill and threatened to send me to collections. And so, because I couldn't deal, I figured if I just paid it, that I could like buy some time and then deal with it and get the money back. And about 3 months later, the same day that I got a refund check from them, I also got sent to collections by them for the same amount. And so then I had to deal with the collection agency, and I was like, they sent a refund check, obviously they didn't mean it, you know, and they were like, well, you know, we can't talk to you about it because it's her medical bills or whatever, but we sent you to collection. They sent me to collection, even when I thought, like, okay, you know, for better or worse, this is all over now. Like, Liz died and everything's done, and I couldn't get off the couch for a while. Like, I just couldn't even figure out how to function. And that's when all the bills start coming in, you know, and that's when all the, you know, they're like, we have to talk to Liz. I'm like, I'd love to talk to her too, you know.
Here's another example of why we need universal health care. In our America, the decisions are made by those who show up. Will you show up? Please click on the like icon below. If you want to know when we release new videos, click on the subscribe button.